Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. 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 When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. Pray. Pray.
Welcome, everyone, to Dr. Pillai's Religion of Religions YouTube channel. Our program right now is a planetary puja using the chart of now based on the location where I am at the moment, which is in Florida. The puja is something where we work with the chart of the moment. I have it drawn in chalk on a little chalkboard on a side table. On the side table, I also have a little container of water. I have a lit tea light. I have a bell. I have a hand fan because I live with a housemate who is sensitive to scent, so I don't use incense here. I use just a little hand fan. And I also have a bowl of flower petals. And I will be using the chart of now and offering flower petals to the planets, to the stars that they're in, to the archetypes that rule those stars, and making prayers, asking for their positive blessings to come into our lives and into the whole planet. So thank you for being here. You're welcome to participate however works for you. I know some people may just be listening to this while they're driving to work. Dr. Pillai has said the names of all the planets and the stars and the archetypes. Just their name is a quantum sound or a mantra. And even hearing those names helps to activate a positive connection for us with them. So whether you're just listening to this or you're participating at home, offering flower petals on your own, we're very happy to have you here. My name is Swamini Valli. I am a Pillai Center teacher and an AstroVed astrologer, and I'm very happy to be hosting this series Monday through Friday on this channel. Dr. Pillai has said that the planets and the stars, they're more than just physical things that we see through a telescope in the sky. There is also a living divine being associated with all of them. And when we interface with these divine beings, their positive gifts start to flow more readily into our lives. So that's the purpose of doing this puja. So this is the chart for today, July 15th, based off of 10 a.m. in my location, which is here in Florida. So we do the chart based off of the location of the person who's conducting the ritual. So that's why we're using this chart. This chart is in the form of the South Indian style layout. Each of these different little boxes is representing a separate zodiac sign. If you're new to the South Indian style layout, there is a link below the video in the show more area that has a link for a tutorial video about the South Indian style chart if you want to learn more about the layout. We're going to start today with first, I'm sprinkling a few drops of water on each side of the little blackboard where I'll be doing the puja with the flower petals. Sprinkling each of the four sides, sprinkling some water on the top of my head and sending a few drops of water out in the ether in your direction toward those who are listening to this either live or later in a recording, so that we're all in a sacred space for the purposes of this puja. Next, I'm going to go ahead and invoke Ganesha, an archetype who removes obstacles. Om Shring Gang, Om Shring Gang, Om Shring Gang. We ask Ganesha to come and to remove all obstacles from this puja for everyone. And we thank him for his help with this. Now we do a short Tamil chant taken from a larger hymn written by the Tamil saint Yana Samundar a few centuries ago. This is a hymn that invokes positive blessings from all of the planets. We do just a short little set of it. Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Arvakumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Arvakumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Avarkumikave. We ask all of these celestial beings that we're going to invoke to be positive towards us. And we thank Saint Yana Samundar for giving us this chant. And we thank Dr. Pillai for teaching this puja. Now we're going to invoke the planet that rules the day. Right now in my area, it's Friday. So Friday is ruled by Venus. I'm going to honor Venus. And as I chant for Venus, I'm going to put a flower petal on top of Venus each time I chant. Flower petals have great purity, and they help to take these sounds into the Akash, or the causal plane, where their energy actually helps update our Akashic records. We invoke Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Next, we invoke the star that the moon is in. Right now in my area, the moon is in the star of Dhanishta. We invoke this star, and I put the flower petals on top of the moon. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Now we invoke the Tithi, or the moon phase, the moment we're in the third waning moon, called Tritya in Sanskrit. Dr. Pillai said for invoking the moon phase, we would say the Sanskrit name and then also the word Devi, invoking the being of light associated with that moon phase. I put the flower petals on top of the moon. Om Tritya Devye Namaha. Om Tritya Devye Namaha. Om Tritya Devye Namaha. Next, we invoke the planet that rules the hour. In my area right now, the Hora, or the hour, is being ruled by Saturn. We honor Saturn, and I put flower petals on top of Saturn. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Next, we're going to say the two time elements called the yoga and the karana. Dr. Pillai said with these, we wouldn't offer flower petals, just say their names 3 times to help invoke their positive blessings. Right now in my area, the yoga is one called Priti, which has the energy of contentment. Priti, Priti, Priti. And the karana right now is one called Venetia, which has very mercantile energies, or energies that help with commercial success. Venetia, Venetia, Venetia. Now we turn our attention to the chart of the moment. In my area right now, the ascendant, represented by this little AC here, is in the sign of Leo. That's the sign coming up on the eastern horizon right now where I am. We start with the ascendant, with this planet that rules the ascendant, Leo is ruled by the sun. We honor the sun, and I put the flower petals on top of the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Now we continue going around the chart in a clockwise direction until we come to a sign that has a planet in it. This is Tula or Libra, which today is containing Ketu. We honor Ketu. I put flower petals on top of him. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Right now, Ketu is in the star Vishaka, a star that has competitive energies and that helps with victory and success. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Ketu. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Vishaka is ruled by a pair of archetypes, Indra and Agni. Indra can give blessings of leadership and courage, and Agni, the god for the element of fire, gives energies for transformation and also for purification. We invoke these archetypes, and I put the flower petals on top of Ketu. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Now we invoke the planet that rules Tula or Libra, which is Venus. We honor Venus, and I put the flower petals on top of Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Tula or Libra, a sign of balance and harmony, today containing Ketu, the saintly planet. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Makara or Capricorn, which today contains Pluto, who is retrograde, the moon, and also Saturn, who is also retrograde. We start with honoring Pluto. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Next, we honor the moon, and we'll also honor Saturn before we honor the star, as the moon and Saturn are both in the same star right now. We honor the moon. I put the flower petals on top of the moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. I'm sorry, I first should have invoked a star that Pluto is in. Let me go back and honor the star that Pluto is in. He's in Uttarashada, a star that gives energies of long-lasting success. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by the 10 Visvadevas, shining beings who rule various spheres of existence. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by the sun. We honor the sun, and I put the flower petals on top of the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Next, we honor Saturn for being in Makara or Capricorn. I put the flower petals on top of Saturn. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. The moon and Saturn are both in the star of Dhanishta, a star of wealth, prosperity, music, and good reputation. We honor this star. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Dhanishta is ruled by the 8 Vasus. These are archetypes who rule various elemental energies. We honor them. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Dhanishta star is ruled by Mars. We honor Mars and put the flower petals on top of Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Next, we honor the planet that rules Makara or Capricorn, which is Saturn. Again, we honor Saturn, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Makara or Capricorn, today containing Pluto, a planet that helps us with intuition and rationality and science. And we also honor the moon, which is our mind and our emotions. And we honor Saturn, a planet that helps us with patience, organization, discipline, and structure. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Meena or Pisces, which today contains Neptune, who is retrograde, and Jupiter. We start with honoring Neptune, and I put flower petals on top of him. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Neptune right now is in the star of Purva Bhadrapada, a star with the fire of Kundalini. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada is ruled by a one-footed archetype called Aja Ekapada. He's able to help us to experience silence and forgiveness. We invoke him. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada star is ruled by Jupiter. We honor Jupiter, and I put flower petals on top of him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we turn our attention to Jupiter for being in Pisces. And again, we honor him, and I put flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Jupiter right now is in a star of Uttara Bhadrapada. Dr. Pillai says this is a star that helps us with business development. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Jupiter. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttarabhajapaye Namaha. Om Uttarabhajapadaye Namaha. Uttarabhajapada is ruled by an archetype called Arbundiya. Among other things, this is an archetype that can help to guard our treasures or our precious things. Om Arbundiyaye Namaha. Om Arbundiyaye Namaha. Om Arbundiyaye Namaha. Uttarabhajapada star is ruled by Saturn. We honor Saturn, and I put the flower petals on top of Saturn. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Meena or Pisces, which is Jupiter. Again, we honor Jupiter, and I put flower petals on top of him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Meena or Pisces, the most transcendental and metaphysical of all the zodiac signs, today containing Neptune, a planet that helps give us an ability to understand our inner self, and Jupiter, planet that helps with spiritual teachings and our relationship with spiritual teachers. He also helps with wealth and everything related to banking and legal matters. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with a planet in it is Misha or Aries, which today contains Mars, Uranus, and Rahu. We start with honoring Mars, and I put flower petals on top of Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Right now, Mars is in a star called Ashwini, a star with energies of speed and healing. Om Ashwiniye Namaha. Om Ashwiniye Namaha. Om Ashwiniye Namaha. Ashwini star is ruled by two archetypes called the Ashwini Kumaras, who are horse-headed twins who have tremendous healing energies. Their father is our own sun. We honor the Ashwini Kumaras. Om Ashwini Kumaraye Namaha. Om Ashwini Kumarasye Namaha. Om Ashwini Kumarasye Namaha. Ashwini star is ruled by the planet Ketu. We honor Ketu, and I put flower petals on top of Ketu. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Now we're going to invoke Uranus and Rahu, and we'll invoke both of them before we invoke the star because they're both in the same star today. We start with honoring Uranus. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Next, we invoke Rahu. We put flower petals on top of him. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Uranus and Rahu are both in the star of Bharani, a star symbolized by the yoni, the female private parts. This is a star with tremendous divine feminine energy, Shakti, power. We honor this star. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Bharani star is ruled by Yama. Among other things, Yama is an archetype of justice. I put the flower petals across Uranus and Rahu because they're the ones in the star. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Varni's star is ruled by Venus. We honor Venus, and I put up flower petals on top of Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Misha or Aries, which happens to be Mars. We honor Mars, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Misha or Aries, today containing Mars, a warrior healer planet, Uranus, a planet that helps us with high intelligence and innovation, and Rahu, a planet that helps us to think outside the box and also helps us to make friends with new technologies. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with a planet in it is Mithuna or Gemini, which today contains Venus, Mercury, and the Sun. We start with honoring Venus, and I put flower petals on top of him. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Venus is in the star of Mrgashira, a star that gives us energies of curiosity and interest to learn new things, have new experiences. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Venus. Om Mrgashiraye Namaha. Om Mrgashiraye Namaha. Om Mrgashiraye Namaha. Mrgashira star is ruled by Soma, one of the names of the moon, reflecting on the moon in a liquid form, a kind of divine nectar. We honor Soma, and I put the flower petals on top of Venus because he's the one in the Mrgashira star. Om Somaye Namaha. Om Somaye Namaha. Om Somaye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Mrgashira star, which is Mars. We honor Mars, and I put the flower petals now on top of Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Now we honor Mercury for being in Gemini. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Mercury and the Sun are both in the same star today, so we honor the Sun before we invoke the star. We honor the Sun, and I put flower petals on top of him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Mercury and the Sun are both in a star called Purnavasu, a star that has energies that help us to be freedom-loving. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals across Mercury and the Sun because they're the ones in that star. Om Purnavasaye Namaha. Om Purnavasaye Namaha. Om Purnavasaye Namaha. Purnavasu is ruled by Aditi, an amazing goddess who is mother to many divine archetypes, including even our own sun. We honor Aditi, and and I put the flower petals again across Mercury and Sun because they're the ones in the star. Om Aditye Namaha. Om Aditye Namaha. Om Aditye Namaha. Purnavasu's star is ruled by Jupiter. We honor Jupiter, and I put the flower petals on top of Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Matuna or Gemini, which happens to be Mercury. We honor Mercury, and I put the flower petals on top of Mercury. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Matuna or Gemini, a sign with a great range of energies, today containing Venus, a planet of happiness, and a planet that helps us to enjoy material comforts. Mercury, a planet of communication and also business development. The Sun, which is our soul, and also a planet so important for our health. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. Now, I take a lit tea light and I offer it in a clockwise direction over the little blackboard that has the chart on it with all the flower petals. I offer this 3 times in a clockwise direction around the chart, offering the element of light to all of these divine beings that we have just invoked. Now I take a little hand fan. Some of you could use an incense stick. I wave a fan because I have a housemate who's sensitive to scent. So I'm waving this little fan 3 times around the chart that has the flower petals on the blackboard, offering the element of air. And now I'm going to take a bell and ring that 3 times around the chart in a clockwise direction, offering the element of sound. Now that we've made these offerings, we make a prayer to all of these divine beings that we've just invoked, asking them for their positive blessings for us, for our families, for our friends, for our colleagues, for our neighbors, for our workplaces, for our schools, for our communities, for our countries, for our planet. We pray that everyone on this planet may have healthy food to eat, clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, a safe place to live, good clothes to wear, access to health care, good education, sustainable jobs, and may everyone on this planet have love in their life, now and always. And I make a bow. You can continue to make your own prayers in silence for a minute, and then I can do a little question and answer period. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the body, peace to the mind, peace to the soul, peace to the environment. Peace, peace, peace. May we all go about our day or our afternoon or our evening in peace. Thank you all for being here. For a few moments, I can answer questions if you post them in the chat. Oh, Evelyn is reminding people to please hit the like button on the video and also subscribe to the channel if you can. Dr. Pillai does want for this channel to grow, and having the like button and more people subscribing helps the algorithm at YouTube make more people aware of the channel. So thank you for your help with that. Not seeing any questions at the moment, seeing some people saying thank you. My pleasure. I'm very happy to be hosting this Monday through Friday. We don't meet on Saturday or Sunday as I have other classes to go to on that day. But Monday through Friday, we're trying this out on the channel. The charts are always being posted at club.astroved.com. There's a little category there that's the quick index for the week. And then there's also a category for the weekday charts. And there's also a category there for prayers and mantras, which does have mantras we use for the planets. And if you scroll down in that category, it also has the Tamil chant in one of the later blog posts there. Ranuk is saying, are planets sensitive to the color of flowers, like yellow for Jupiter, red for Mars? The planets are definitely open to any flower that you want to offer them. Like today, I had white flower petals because that's what was available at my market. Yellow is a color that's often associated with Jupiter. Red is often a color associated with Mars. Sometimes the priests in the temple would, offer a yellow mala for Jupiter, etc. But you can offer whatever color flowers you have. And if you don't have flowers, you could just even offer them mentally. You can always do mental offerings. So I hope that answers that question. M is saying, thank you, Swamini. Since we start with this magic puja, I feel recharged and connecting with all planetary beings. Blessings. I guess see you again on Monday. Yes. Rara is saying, can you try a document camera so we can watch your Blackboard? At the moment, Rara, my setup here isn't conducive for that. I actually have two computers set up, one that has the YouTube broadcast, the other where I'm typing to you in the chat occasionally, and where I can see what you're typing in the chat. And then I have the chalkboard on a little side table. And right now, the configuration is a little challenging for me to also try showing you the side table, the little blackboard as well. So at the moment, I don't quite have figured out how to do that. These are still early days. I'm still getting the hang of, doing the broadcast, having the flower petals ready, etc. I hope someday that I can do that, but I have a kind of limitation with the space I'm using at the moment. Rara says, I enjoyed chanting the planets with you. Thank you very much. I very much am grateful to have some people showing up live. I know some people may watch later in the day on the replay, and that's fine too. The blessings will come through that way as well. So there's that. So I would like to be able to show you the Blackboard too, but right now I don't have that dexterity or that ability to have that sorted out just yet. So thank you for being patient with that. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. And I know on Fridays, Ronnie does have a another program that's coming up on the channel. So I need to get off of the Zoom and the YouTube for her to be able to set up. Rava is saying, thanks for sharing how challenging it is. I'm really happy to be doing this. I just, only have so many hands like that at the moment. Thank you, Evelyn, for helping to monitor the chat. Are there degrees in Vedic charts? Yes, each of the zodiac signs contains 30 degrees. So each of the zodiac signs has, 30 degrees. So it's 360 degrees for the full zodiac. So yes, different planets are in different degrees right now today. So in the club.astroved.com, when you look at where the chart is, you'll also see the degrees and the stars that the planets are in for that day as well. So that information is there. So I'm using a sidereal chart, which may give some different results from the Western chart. And I'm including the 3 outer planets because Dr. Pillai this past year had statues made for Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and he had them energized and put in his temple in India. And we're using the mantras that were used in the fire labs for energizing those statues. There is a nadi in Chennai that has a conversation between sage Vasistha and sage Vishvamitra, where they talk about the 3 outer planets. And centuries ago, these sages said to each other, it will be the astrologers of the Kali Yuga, which is the time we're in now, that will reveal the qualities of those particular planets, the 3 outer planets. So we're living in a time where there's, fresh revelations coming through to us. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream so that Ronnie can help to get the next program started. Dr. Pillai has a vision for this channel growing to the point where we always have something broadcasting. So we're slowly moving in that direction. See you all again on Monday. Namaste. Why do we skip the zodiacs without planets? Because this is a planetary puja, Ranok, and those zodiacs at the moment don't have planets in them. So that's why we're skipping over them in the puja. I'm following the directions that were given to me and Raja, Meena Malloy's brother, many years ago when he taught us this puja. This puja is based on a puja that he saw done by some Ashtamangala astrologers from Kerala, which they would do before they did their readings for the day. They do a very, very sophisticated form of reading. They have a great purity, and when they work with clients, they do a reading that extends over a couple of days, and they draw the chart like right on the floor when they do it. Okay, that's it for today then. Namaste. Thank you all. My pleasure for doing this. See you on Monday. Namaste.